not arranged marriages, rather marriages of convenience earlier in the week, and how some of those people are treated when it's suspected that they might have conducted a marriage of convenience. Well, my next guest is a human rights lawyer. He deals very extensively with cases of migration and deportation. He is Michalis Paraskevas. Michalis, thanks for joining me. Good evening to you.
Good evening. Thank you very much for having me.
First, tell me how you got into the field of being a human rights lawyer. Was it something that you thought you might go into when you were studying to qualify?
No, actually, I'm not a human rights lawyer. I'm just a lawyer that in some time... First of all, forgive my English, okay? I don't speak...
Listen, your English is just fine, and a lot better than my Greek, so off you go.
Okay. When I came up for the first time with these kind of cases, I just handled it like the other cases. But I was shocked by what I had to confront. Okay, I can tell you 1,000 cases that I was handling. For example, a very, very unbelievable example is when on the 18th of January 2011, the Supreme Court ordered the release for an asylum seeker from a Tamil from Sri Lanka, that if he was going to send back, he was certain to death by his compatriots, Sinhalese. Anyway, and the Supreme Court ordered the release, and the immigration, our beloved immigration department, refused to comply with the decision of the Supreme Court.
Can they not be held in contempt?
Let me tell you, 2 days after, another Supreme Court order, 20th of January 2011, and not only they didn't release this poor man, okay, but the next day, 21st of January 2011, they deport him. An asylum seeker.
They sent him back to Sri Lanka?
Not to Sri Lanka, to Pakistan, because it was a different case, to Pakistan. The one that 18th of January 2011 was never released. I had to fight. I had to gather because I consider I consider myself a human being first of all, and an activist. Okay, I want the law to comply, especially when you have to deal with humans, with human beings. Okay, and we had a Supreme Court judgment, and the immigration, the police refused to comply with this. Unbelievable.
Are they not obliged to comply with a Supreme Court ruling? If you or I break a Supreme Court ruling, we're in big trouble.
When you are in the courts in democracy, anyway, in a democracy this kind of type that we have in our world today, when you have a court order, of course the court order must be executed. If you don't have this, so you don't have a rule of law, so you have dictatorship. You have a junta. You have something different, not democracy.
Yes, but sorry, what recourse does the Supreme Court have if somebody does not obey one of their rulings? I mean, if I disobey a Supreme Court ruling, they'll put me in prison, yes?
This is a crime. This is a crime.
And will I go to prison?
Yes, but the Supreme Court must order this. When this came up, and I was shocked, I was yelling at the court. And in this time, in this particular case, in the 18th of January 2011, by accident, Mr. Ioannis Nikolaou, today's Ministry of Justice, back then he was the president of the legal committee of the parliament. I saw Mr. Ioannis Nikolaou, and I called him. I said, Mr. Nikolaou, listen, 5 minutes earlier, Mr. Kramvis, the Supreme Court judge, ordered the release of this poor man, and the policeman don't comply with this decision. He saw the judgment. He asked something to why don't you release him? And the policeman said, this is our order. And Mr. Ioannis Nikolaou said, okay, and he left. And I didn't know what else to do, so I went to the Judge Kramvis' chambers. I knocked the door. I tell him, Your Honor, I'm very sorry to come to your chamber, but you deliver your decision a few minutes before to release my client, and the police they refuse to comply with your judgment. And Mr. Karvis tell me, but okay, I did my job. I delivered my judgment. This is I'm just describing you the facts, okay? So everyone can make his or her conclusion. So and this took place many times, and I'm telling you that things are getting worse. Things are getting worse.
In what way?
In what way? You have many directives. Okay, let's take the directive 115 of 2008. It's about the return of the irregular immigrants. Okay, in this directive, it specifically says that you cannot put in custody an immigrant just because you consider him irregular, because illegal it's not the proper. You have to call him irregular immigrant. Okay, so when you have the decision from the general director of the ministry and the director of the immigration, when you have the decision that someone is irregular, you have to give him according to the directive. You have some scale. You have some steps that you have to follow. First of all, you have to give him the right. So this is an obligation of Cyprus and all the member states. You have the obligation to give him, to deliver to him the decision so that he can go and object to this decision. You have to give him the right for 30 days to deport himself. Okay, you have to give him this right, 30 days. If you consider him dangerous for public safety or for whatever, okay, this is a legal terms that they have content. It's not somewhere in the universe. Okay, you cannot just say I consider you danger for the public safety. No. Okay, you cannot do, even if because they do this. But let's say that you think that this man or woman he will escape from Cyprus and avoid the deportation. Okay, you have the right, according to the directive, to have some pressure on him or her. Let's say, like the criminal cases, you can force him to pay, let's say, 1,000 euros as a guarantee. You can tell him or her to deliver his travel or her travel documents. You can force him to come every day or 1 or 2 times a week to police station and report himself. And that's it. And the most important thing is that you have to give him the right to object this decision to the court, not just to an administrative.
So he can lodge an appeal against a decision. It does seem strange, Michalis, that we're talking, generally speaking here, correct me if I'm wrong, about people who probably haven't got anywhere like €1,000. So what on earth is the point of saying that as long as they pay their own way back to wherever they came, they can't afford to buy the ticket, can they?
Listen, okay, there are these. We cannot generalize. It depends. Each person is different. I have many cases that I have many clients of mine that they are regular people like you and me, that they just want to live their life with this dignity. Okay, and they work, so they earn money. And you have to understand that. Let's say the Cypriots, when they go to England, they have groups. They help each other. The same thing happened in Cyprus. You have a group of different nationalities. They help each other. For example, Tamils, they help each other. So everybody can put 10 euros, for example, and gather an amount of 1,000 and put it as a guarantee. I know because this is happening all the time. But I wanted to add something very important. According to the European Directive 115 of 2008, you have to take under consideration, first of all and above all, the interest of the child or the children.
Well, I wanted to come on to that because there have been several cases reported in the papers recently.
That the custody, in order for an irregular immigrant to be in custody, there are 3 very important decisions from the ECJ, from the European Court of Justice, very recent cases. of 2011 that says that you have to use this scale. This is an obligation of all the member states, and you can put him in custody or her in custody just when everything, the objection to the court has finished. There is no other, he has or her, she or he doesn't have any other right to stay in Cyprus, let's say, and you have the right to deport him, and you can put him in custody just for a few days so that to prepare the deportation. What is happening in Cyprus is that they just say, you are irregular, and then let's say that the police find you in the street. This is what actually happened. There is no even a decision from the general director and the director of the immigration department. There is no such thing. Let's say that a police, an ordinary police, find an immigrant and ask for his or her documents. Let's say that the immigration says he's illegal. The same day he will be put in custody, and the same day he will be delivered the decision. But in any case, the 100% of the cases is that they just put them in prison. That's it.
There is a legal there is a regulation, I think, about how long you can detain somebody.
According to the European directive, the maximum that you can detain someone is 6 months, and there are two exceptions according to Article 15 of the directive. But the maximum is 6 months. You cannot detain someone for more than 6 months. You can detain someone for more than 6 months when this person does not he doesn't work, he doesn't cooperate with the immigration for his or her deportation.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I
that's right.
Tell it correctly. And when the immigration department expects some documents from abroad. This is the only two exceptions. But what I have a client that he is more than 19 months. The European directive set a ceiling, maximum, the maximum, but the final maximum, 18 months. I have a poor client, and I can tell you, and the most important thing, this is what I'm going to tell you, is that this is the most important. According to Article 19 of the immigration law, it's not a crime for someone to you cannot put in prison someone just because his visa is expired. There is a specific article in the immigration law, and these people, the immigration, they took people in courts, in district courts, and unfortunately, I'm very sad to tell you that the district courts, I don't know if they don't know the law, they put these people in prison, despite that there is no right to do this. You cannot put in prison. It's not a crime that you can put someone in prison just because he is illegal in Cyprus. But what the courts do, they put them in prison. And I challenge this 3 times to the Supreme Court, and unfortunately, I'm very sad to tell you that the Supreme Court, I told to the judges, Your Honor, they didn't have the court, the district court, in 2 cases. The district court in Limassol, the district court in Nicosia. I don't know if they didn't. I don't know why they did this. But according to the law, to the immigration law, you cannot put in prison just because his visa or her visa is expired. Okay. But despite that, they put them in prison. And I challenge that. And because of this in prison, this is what the Orient Express, I don't know, this is what it's unbelievable what is happening. And listen, Mrs. Shagali, when someone is put in prison, Mrs. Shagali is the director of the immigration, she decided just because you was in prison, let's say for 10 days or 15 days, you are for somehow become the greatest danger for the nation, okay? And Mrs. Shagali, with the general director of the ministry, used to be Mr. Ashodis, now he moved to the labor ministry. They ordered, just because you were put in prison for an illegal reason, so they used what they did illegally, And they say that you have to deport because you was put in prison. I don't know if you understand.
Yes, I think I do. But the worrying thing, you mentioned children who are caught up in all of this, Michalis, and there have been some very worrying cases recently of children who've been separated from their parents because the parents have been deported. What happens to the children in these cases? Because that is against what little I do know of all European family law.
I have one case that the mother, a European citizen, was arrested illegally in front of her child. The Commissioner of the Protection of Child issued a very catapult against the immigration. 6th of August, this poor girl, 23 years old, the mother of a child under 3 years old, she was arrested in the immigration department, and the father came to take the child. They put her in prison just saying that it's a marriage of convenience. The poor father, a Pakistan national, he didn't have any other choice rather than to have a DNA test, even if he didn't have the obligation to, because the birth certificate of Cyprus Republic considers him to be the father. So it's unbelievable that there is a legal document saying that this man is the father. So you have to object to your own decision, because Cyprus Republic is one. It's not the Department of the Immigration and something different than another department. You understand what I'm... So, and this poor boy was forced to pay for a DNA test. He succeeded to the DNA test. The DNA test committed that from the Genetic Institute in Cyprus proves that he is the father, and not only they didn't release the mother, but on the Saturday of 2 of November, he was arrested too. And I went to the immigration department 11 o'clock in the night. You have 5 policemen there, arrest the big terrorists. And the officer there tell me, hey, Michalis, where is the child? We have to... And I told him in his face, listen, I don't trust you. You are telling lies. I don't believe you that you care about this child, you or your supervisors, I don't know who are they. Okay? So don't tell me that you care about the child. You arrested the mother, you arrested the father, you dare to tell me that you care about the child? Okay, and the child now, by luck, only by luck, is with his uncle. Because the brother of these...
Well, he's lucky he's got an uncle here.
Yes.
Well, it's very worrying, Michalis, that this seems to be routinely going on day after day, time after time. Yeah. We will hopefully next week be talking to the Commissioner for Children's Rights on our programme, because it is International Children's Rights Day next Wednesday. So I'll be talking, I hope, to Lida Kursumba. We'll bring some of these things up then. It has been a pleasure talking to you, and the very best of luck with your continued work.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And that is Michalis Paraskeva, who is, as you could hear, a lawyer dealing very greatly with human rights and so on, and with deportation of migrants. So we've still got our computer news to come, and that's coming up before... No, we'll have a little piece of music in just a moment. Let's just... we have to announce to you, I think that's the right piece, that we will now be playing classical music for the rest of the programme, in between the interviews, of course, because we've just heard that Glafkos Kleridis has died. And we have for you, because this was not unexpected, an obituary.
During World War II, Glafkos Kleridis joined